she's and I don't think she meant to be, but she is definitely the queen of horror films. Again, I don't think she meant to do it, but she is without a doubt. I mean, we're talking about the original Hills Have Eyes, E.T., which is not a horror film, but I mean, she's been part of so many iconic projects like Cujo, the Twilight Zone series, so on and so forth. There's so much that Dee Wallace is doing right now in her life. She's a life coach. She's got a new book, Born, giving birth to a new you. Also, her website, imdwallace.com, which she kind of ripped off the I am from me, I think, because I am Jason Bailey everywhere. And this new, I know, shocker, horror film called Nix, N-I-X, which is, by the way, director Anthony C. Ferrante, same guy that did Sharknado. I've talked to him a million times. He's a very talented guy. Dee Wallace, the great Dee Wallace, is on our show. How are you, Dee?
I am so great.
You are.
I'm fab, darling. How are you?
I'm on top of the world now that I'm talking to you. You are like, do you get how much of an icon you are? I mean, does that feel like when you wake up every day, you say, I'm Dee Wallace and I'm a big deal?
No, I should though, shouldn't I? But
yeah.
Shouldn't we all? Shouldn't we all get up and go, I'm special and I'm awesome and what can I bring that's fabulous to this day? I do that. Well, I do that.
You've always been, from what I can gather, a very positive, humble individual. And does that come into play in this life coach portion of your life? I mean, did you do it because you just wanted something else to do? Was it the money? Or did you just say, hey, look, I'm really good at helping other people. I should be a legit life coach.
I am really good at helping other people, but what happened was I opened up a channel, and I'm a clairaudient channel, and so I get information. My specialty is to be able to look in people's energy and find out where their blocks are, where they started, who they started with, so that literally they can redirect their brains to think in a new way and create a new life. And there's a formula to it. There's a formula to creating and manifesting money, health, relationships, anything you want in your life, but you got to know the formula, and that's why I wrote Born.
What about those days that aren't so positive? And we all get them. I consider myself an optimist, and I'm a very positive person. And I think that, my motto in life is because mathematically speaking, there's always a shot on the pool table. That's my motto in life. That means that you can do it because there's a solution for every problem. But there's also those days where I'm like, shit, there's just no getting out of this. This sucks. And as a life coach on the record, Dee, how do you then say in those days, you got to almost kind of therapy yourself, right?
You got to therapy yourself. Well said. Look, bottom line, nobody's going to change how you're feeling except you, right? Nobody. And so what I do is self-talk. And I actually did this the other day coming back on yet another cross-country flight. And it kept getting delayed. And then they couldn't get the luggage door to close. So we had another delay. And I felt myself starting to get pissed off.
Oh, no.
And I sat there and he went, okay, Dee, you can get pissed off if you want. The only person you're hurting is you. Nobody else is going to care that you're pissed off, baby cakes, So these are your choices. Happy, choose to be more positive, choose to, interact in a happier way and get through this the best you can.
When you get pissed off in real life, do you turn into Dee Wallace from Hills Have Eyes? Do you turn into Dee Wallace from E.T., which is more of a motherly pissed off?
Baby, frighteners.
What's that?
I turn into Dee Wallace from the Frighteners.
Oh, I was going to say, if it's Dee Wallace from Cujo, that's a different story too. I mean,
yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah. But, Dee Wallace from Cujo was was pissed off because she was trying to save her kid. Dee Wallace from the Frighteners was just a deranged woman with a knife.
I was always under the impression you were trying to save that sweet ride that you had in Cujo. Was it
Oh,
a
yeah.
Pinto?
Yeah. If I never see another Pinto in my life, it'll be too soon, let me tell you.
So my friend Chuck, who's in the studio with me,
Hi, Chuck.
How you doing, D? So happy to talk to you.
so he told me something about, would you say that the dog was not a dog?
Well, so, because full disclosure, the first horror movie I ever saw, I was born in 1979. The first horror movie I ever saw in in my life, was Cujo. So growing up, I was scared to death of dogs.
Yeah.
Like big dogs. So anyway, so I did some research and I was like, holy cow, they used real dogs, mechanical dogs. I think the stuntman was actually a dog at one point. Is that all true?
That is all true, but the real dog, all total, there were 13 dogs that played Cujo.
Wow.
Holy cow.
But almost all of them were real St. Bernards. They did 95% of the work in Cujo. They were trained by Carl Miller within an inch of their lives, those dogs. And they were all trained to go after toys. So they were having a wonderful time. It was always a big game for them, but we purposely had to have so many dogs because we didn't want to overwork the dogs.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Only one of me, 13 of them. So I worked every frickin' shot. Yeah. So, for those animal rights lovers, as I am out there, the dogs were exceptionally well cared for. And we even had to tie their tails down because they were wagging their tails all the time. And the stunt guy, Gary Morgan, wonderful guy, but he rammed his head into the car. He did the big attack scene with me, which was intercut with the stunt woman with the real dog. So the editing in that big attack scene is unbelievable editing.
Why is Saint Bernard though? There's so many other scarier dogs. Was that the first choice?
Because the Saint Bernard is known as one of the gentlest, sweetest dogs on the planet. So it's even more horrifying when something evil can take over Cujo. Of course, we departed a lot from the book in that regard, and it was all due to the bat bite and the rabies that he came down with. And of course, we changed the end of the movie. The boy lives, and Stephen King got a hold of our producer and said, "Thank God you didn't kill the kid at the end. I never got more hate mail anything I've ever done than when I killed the kid at the end of Cujo." So,
I think if they redo it, they should do like a Yorkshire Terrier or a Cavalier King Charles.
I'd be really afraid of that. Can't you just see him hopping up and down, looking in the window?
And of course, it'd be an electric car.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
We can go back some of the other films here in a second, but I want to talk about this film that you've done, which is out now. It's released on all major platforms. It's called Nix, N-I-X. I've not seen the film yet, but I saw the trailer and looks, it's like prototype great horror movie at the greatest time of year to watch it. But you get to be in this movie with another great, in my opinion, is Michael Paré.
Yeah, I love Michael. I only have one scene with him. Well, 1.5 in the movie. Wonderful guy. We had a great time working together. And Anthony, our director, I've worked a few times with Anthony. Anthony literally can pull gold out of a beaver's butt. He is unbelievably creative, and if somebody says no, we can't do it, Anthony will find a way that we can. So I'm really proud of my work in this film. I'm a crazy out there character, not one of my prettier parts, I can tell you that. Dear God, I look like hell through the whole thing. But, it brings my healing work and my acting work together. When I read the script, I called Anthony and he went, oh my God, this is literally my two worlds coming together. Because I know that our perspective and our belief systems create most of the horror in our lives. So when you get in touch with your own BS, you really can move into a lot of freedom in your life.
Yeah.
Why are you on the phone talking to me?
What's that? Why am I on the? You can.
Why are you on the phone?
I'm actually googling. I'm googling Nick's right now because I was going to ask some questions about something I saw.
Okay. So here's why I'm on the phone. I didn't realize you can see me because I'm glad I decided to put clothes on for this conversation.
Yeah.
I wanted to make sure that I got, like I said, I hadn't seen the movie, but I saw the trailer. I want to get the synopsis correct. So. It's a family finding themselves on a dark, scary journey into their own self-created madness when a mysterious entity manifests itself. And this is all an outdoorsy. It's very Friday the 13th-esque because you've got the lake and whatnot. Where did you guys shoot this movie?
Oh, my God. We shot it, the first part in Sacramento, and then we went up north to this little camper village thing. And it decided to snow 2 feet.
Ooh.
So here we were all, we were all established in much lesser clothes, and then it snowed. So we had to figure out how to make it probable that we had other clothes to put on a little bit. And it was tough. It was a really, really tough shoot.
Yeah, you can even tell in the trailer, like it was uncomfortably cold for what you were wearing. I noticed that. So I asked the question. I was like, God, they look so uncomfortable in some of these scenes.
Yeah, it was really cold and nobody expected it and nobody wanted it, but welcome to the movies, you have to deal with what you're given.
Had you worked with Michael Paré previously, or is this the first?
I had not, but I sure hope to in the future.
Are you a fan of like Eddie and the Cruisers and Streets of Fire and all those great classics?
Yeah, and I'm just a fan of his as an actor.
Yeah,
he's really, really present and charismatic, and the little girl in the film. She's new, Nisha. Mm-hmm. She's awesome. I've worked with a lot of kids over my life, over my career, and kids and dogs, that's me. We didn't have a dog in this one though, but Nisha's a new find. I think she's going to do really well in the industry.
So it escapes me. E.T., your son, the kid's name, real life is what?
Is Henry Thomas.
Henry Thomas, thank you. So, like, he took a hiatus from acting, at least mainstream. You just didn't see him. At least I didn't. And then Gangs of New York comes out, and I'm sitting there and I'm watching. I'm going, God, I know this guy. How do I know this guy? So I'm a big like, let's research these, people and find out a little cool. Like, holy shit, this is the kid from E.T. Where has he been all these years? So I guess he took kind of a little hiatus from acting.
I think he did some independent stuff and, didn't go mainstream, so people weren't tracking him. But he's just a really consummate actor, Henry.
Is he? Yeah.
And really, really brilliant actor. And then Robert, that played the older son, is a postal worker now.
Really?
But the two boys and I do a lot of, I don't do a lot of conventions. I do like 6 big ones a year. But we've done quite a few together the last couple of years because it's the 40th anniversary of E.T.
Oh, I gotcha. When you do these conventions, what's the focal point? Is it E.T., Hills Have Eyes, Cujo? Like, what are people more interested in talking to you about?
It's a pretty even mix of E.T., Cujo, and the Howling.
Oh, okay.
And then Critters.
Yeah.
And then a mix of, Rob Zombie, a lot of Rob Zombie, because I've done a lot of stuff for Rob. And yeah, the rest of them.
Well, I would think you would be perfect for Rob Zombie. By the way, one of the most misread guys in the business. You see,
for sure.
You see this guy with the dreads, and he's crazy, and he's all hard this, and his music. He's one of the most intelligent, smartest, sweetest men you could possibly ever meet.
Yeah, he is. And so is Sherry. I love both of them. If Rob calls, I read it, and if I think I can do the part, I say yes. I love the guy. And he gives me an opportunity to do things that a lot of other mainstream people don't give me, like Three from Hell. I don't know if you've seen that, but dear God, I just had a delicious time doing that with Sherry and playing that very ugly, weird banana lesbian. So, I love playing my mother parts, and I love being the Scream Queen, but I really, really do enjoy going into those characters.
I would just, if you would have finished that with saying, I love playing the mother parts, I love playing the Scream Queens, but I really just like playing the lesbian parts.
Well, that one, anyway, I've done a couple in my career.
Well, the thing with Zombie, what I was getting at before, is that you're perfect as far as a partnership, because Rob Zombie is a fan of the old horror stuff, and he tries to kind of take that and make it modern day, which is cool, because so am I. Like, I have a huge problem with this psychological horror film run where the home invasions and like the movies like The Strangers and even the remake of The Hills Have Eyes, it's just too much for me.
Thank you. The original, so much better. Thank you.
No, what is, it's a horror movie.
A true horror film takes time to establish characters. It has a story. You get invested. What we call a lot of horror these days is really more of a slasher film.
And it's too real, because of the world we live in. It's not the fantasy and reality are very blurred worlds nowadays. So when you take stories that are pretty much ripped from the headlines, if to use a cliche term, you're like, oh shit, this can actually. There's a horror movie, Eli Roth. It's called Funny Games, and I watched it once. Can't watch it ever again. I tried to watch the remake of The Last House on the Left, which you were part of the original, right?
No,
you were not. Okay.
No.
So try to watch that. That was too much. I can't watch these rape scenes. Just make me uncomfortable, especially being a father. And it's just like, you don't need to put that in there. I get it. Like, do the fake blood, the slashers, and all that kind of stuff, but just leave me out of that stuff. I can't do it.
Well, I think you'll like the Knicks then, because it's really old school horror.
That's what I want.
It's intelligent. It's an intelligent film. It works on lots of different levels.
Did you not like the remake of The Hills Have Eyes and then the sequel?
Well, I'll just leave it at I like ours better.
Okay, well, let's just say, what would you have done different in the remakes? How about that?
I wouldn't have made one.
Well, the second one got really kind of cheesy. It was almost sci-fi with the second one.
I'm not a big fan of remakes, or part twos, unless it's The Godfather. I think they did it right. But, you know, I mean, come on. Everybody asks me, is there going to be an ET2? Why? Why would there ever be an ET2? Why would there ever be a remake of ET? It's going to go on forever.
Well, what they do now, and this is kind of the formula, is if there were an ET2, they would name it something else, but everybody would understand that this is the progression of ET. Henry Thomas's kid would then develop a relationship with an alien that's not necessarily ET, but ET's like grandson or something like that.
ET Maverick.
Yeah, ET. Yeah, it's ET. It'd be ET. It's exactly what it is. Thank you, Chuck. ET Maverick. That's exactly what it would be.
That was funny, Chuck.
And
yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I just, there are so many creative people out there. Let's create some entirely new kind of, like The Quiet Place. I thought The Quiet Place was brilliant.
I did too.
I loved that movie.
Yeah. The only problem with that movie, did you get a early screening of it in your house, or did you actually go to the theater?
We went to the theater.
Okay. The only problem with that movie is you could hear everybody chew their snacks.
You know, I'm glad you're not a critic on a lot of my films.
Well, I mean, The Quiet Place.
That's the shit you're focusing on, dude.
I mean, you're sitting in there watching it, and I'm into it. I agree. I think it's a great, great movie. Same with The Bird Box. I thought The Bird Box was a creative horror-esque film. But The Quiet Place, I'm sitting in there and I'm watching it, and I'm like, okay, and I'm really into it. You know, and you'll have one of these, you know, like, what is that? That lady's like,
somebody goes on their phone and turns the light on, you know.
Oh my God. You hear every single noise. You hear that bag opening of the juju beans, you know, like, shut up. I'm trying to watch The Quiet Place.
Do you have ADD?
Yes, he
No,
does.
I've got OCD, not ADD, OCD.
OCD.
Mm-hmm.
So you really focus on all those little things.
I do. I'm big on particulars. I'm very big on particulars.
Well, maybe if you sit at the back of the theater, you won't hear so much.
I have to sit in the middle, far right row next to the aisle because my leg has to hang out because I got a bad knee. True story.
Okay, I'm done trying to help you, dude.
Yeah. Well, you're the life coach, D. I mean, sorry. Got an answer for everything you're going to throw at me. The other thing with The Hills Have Eyes is, and I didn't know this until I was looking stuff up to talk to you about, that's actually based on a true story or the legend of 15th century cannibal, Scottish Highlands. Did not know that.
I didn't know it either.
Oh.
Thanks for letting me know.
That's what the internet says.
Would I have played my part different if I knew that? I mean, look, I did a religious film, and then I went right into The Hills Have Eyes, which kind of sums up who I am, by the way. Kind of sums up my family. My brother worked his way through seminary shooting pictures for Playboy. That kind of sums up my family from Kansas, okay? I spent half my life doing horror films and the other half of my life teaching people to heal themselves from all their fears. I don't know. It works for me. What can I say? But even then, my first horror film, who was I? The Mom.
The Mom.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, there's just something about me. We were out with a group of people, and I don't know. I saw this homeless person, and you could tell she was homeless, and I went over and talked to her for a minute and gave her a 20 and, gave her some encouragement, came back and sat down. And one of my friends looked at me and he said, and that's why she plays mothers. But I like that about me. I like that I care about people and want to connect and help. And yeah.
Well, you not only play mothers, but you always tend to play a Mary. You're always named Mary.
Really?
Yeah, it's like the most, like you've been named Mary in like 5. I mean, you've done so many films, but you've been a Mary in a lot of them.
If you say so.
Yeah, I'm just trying to tell you.
I don't track all that stuff, you guys. I've got over 260 film credits.
Yeah.
When you include, all the movies of the week and everything. People come up to me at a con and hand me a picture from an old movie and go, can you put your character name underneath your name? And I go, if you tell me who I was. I can't remember all of them, yeah.
And you've got like 13 films in post-production.
Yeah, I got a lot coming out and recurring on 2 TV series. And, for an older broad in the business, I'm working a lot, baby cakes.
No, you're great. You're fantastic. I would not put you in that category, not even the slightest. You're one of the most talented, iconic actresses that have ever been doing this. Just as a fan, I'm like, this is so cool.
Thanks, guys.
Have you had the same agent your whole career?
No. I had the same agent for a long time. And then, like a lot of actors, I go, I should be with the bigger people.
Yeah.
So I went with 3 different big people and none of them worked for me. And so then I found a small boutique agency, and the agents have been around forever. And I have been with them, I think, 15 years now. Mike Eisenstadt is my primary agent at my agency, and he just takes care of me. He knows where my strengths are. He knows where my fears are. He knows when to hold my hand and when to say, get your ass up and get out of there, right?
Yeah. Now, did you fire all these agents, or did you have an agent fire the agents?
No, I said, guys, this isn't working.
Oh, okay. And it's just like when did you know? Like, do you remember like a film or a deal that fell through, and you're like, I can't believe these guys screwed it up. I got to let them go.
But I was down to the wire on what was supposed to be a really big series for the pilot. And so an agency came after me and I went with them. I didn't get the part and they didn't send me out for 6 months.
Oh.
Yeah. So I went, sayonara, guys. If you only took me on because you thought I was going to be your cash cow in this one show, ain't what I'm about.
What was the show? What was the show?
I can't even remember. It was a pilot and it never went.
Oh, yeah. I bet you were named Mary in that show.
Probably.
What about some other roles that I love asking this question, especially with somebody with the longevity that you have and all the films and projects you've been a part of. Was there something that you didn't get that turned out to be a really big deal?
Yeah, and it was a movie of the week.
Really?
It was about, I think it was called Adam, about the little boy who was kidnapped.
Mm-hmm. John Walsh's kid.
And Joe Beth Williams took it over when I couldn't do it. I was doing a movie of the week with Dom DeLuise. It overlapped one day, and those guys wouldn't let me out. And I ended up not working that day. It was bullshit. But that's one of them. A second one is Fame. I got really, really close to doing a part in Fame. And, because I started out as a dancer.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't get that.
How do you not hire Dee Wallace though? Like, what do they
know.
tell you? It's like, sorry, you're not good enough.
Guys, it comes down to so many things. Like, I have an offer on the table right now, and they want me the same day that I'm working on another TV show.
Oh.
So we're trying to figure out if somebody can move a schedule, or, it goes on all the time if you're a busy working actor. There's a lot of stuff you have to juggle.
Do you need to use me as a proxy? And I'll go in as Dee Wallace, and I'll put the wig on, and I'll do my best. Try not to
I don't know.
embarrass you.
You'd have to shave, dude.
Yeah. Well, the only reason I got this hair on my face right now is for my Halloween costume. So I'm usually.
So what are you going to be?
I can't tell you, unfortunately. So we're throwing this big party. We have these events called Podcasts and Pours, right? I mean, without boring you to death here, but so this will be our second one. I booked the band The Verve Pipe, which is really cool, right? I'm a big fan of The Verve Pipe. And every year for Halloween, I try to be creative and mix two people into one character. So, for example, last year, because I got fired from radio, I was Steve No Jobs. I've been Willy Willy Wonka Nelson one year. I was SpongeBob Ross one year. I was Garth Vader, Garth from Winning Garth one year. So I try to be creative. This year's a really good one, really, but I can't say it because I like to surprise people when I get there.
Oh, sure, I get it.
Yeah.
Are you going, Chuck?
I'm going.
He's playing. His band's playing. It's the Verve Pipe and his band full of veterans. They're all veterans from our military called Distinct Grace.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Very nice.
I'm not as secretive with my costume. I'm just going to be something, routine or cheesy. Now, the question for you, though, is Halloween's coming up. You are the Scream Queen. What are you going as? Do you just go as Dee Wallace and just...
Goes Mary.
No, I stay home and have a wonderful time looking at all the little kids in the neighborhood that come by.
And then you open the door and the dads are like, oh my gosh.
It's really, really joyful for me to do that. One year, I had my cat costume from E.T., and I dressed up as Mary in the Halloween scene and took my little girl, who was a fairy princess that year, I believe. And a lot of people got it. Oh my God, you're the character from E.T. And I went, yeah, I am, actually.
You should make it. You should have made it a tradition to always give out Reese's Pieces every year.
We do.
Oh, you do? Okay, that's funny.
We do, along with a lot of other stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, that's funny.
But I just, I just really love being here for the kids and interacting with them. And again, why I play moms.
Well, you have this thing that's a good thing because of who you are personally, a very caring, nurturing type of individual and a mom in real life. But you're able to pull off these horror films. You mix them together. It's kind of the sweet salt kind of thing where it's very difficult. It's not an easy thing to do, to come across as, the Scream Queen, yet nurturing mother. I mean, it's not easy.
Well, I think it depends on the parts you attract. I certainly wasn't the nurturing mother in The Frighteners, but Cujo and The Hills Have Eyes, and a lot of the things I've done lends itself to bringing in all those colors, right?
Mm-hmm.
I can just be a badass killer that wants to go stab everybody in The Frighteners too.
Wes Craven did the original Hills Have Eyes, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I've seen certain documentaries on him and just how unique, creatively unique this guy is and was. And then of course goes on to do the Nightmare on Elm Streets and whatnot. And it's always, Wes Craven always wants his name in there in the title, which was not the normal thing to do a lot of times, launching Johnny Depp's career. Was it Johnny Depp, right? Johnny Depp's career and things. Were you ever like, did you develop a relationship with him from The Hills Have Eyes to like be the go-to for other films that he did later on?
Unfortunately, I did not.
No.
No. It was my first gig. I didn't understand building relationships, and it was such a difficult shoot, you guys. We were in the Mojave Desert. All of us stayed in one trailer. The bathroom broke. It was tough. Finally, my husband said, "You can't drive all this way every night," because I was kind of going to sleep at the wheel. So on my own dime, we just rented a Motel 6 down there, so I could stay down there. It was a tough shoot because at night you're freezing. During the day, you're dying of the heat, and it was challenging, but who would have thought it would be this amazing cult classic this many years later?
So am I to understand that because of the conditions and your youth and maybe, naiveness or whatever you want to call it, you and Wes Craven butted heads, which never...
Oh, no, not at all.
Oh, okay.
Not at all. I just didn't create... I wasn't present enough to create a relationship with Wes, other than walking on the set and getting direction.
Gotcha.
And Wes himself is very quiet and very kind of, from what I remember, very kind of introverted. But boy, was he really knew what he wanted and was a really great director.
Yeah. All right. Well, before it gets weird and you have to cut us off because you've got other things to do, I'm gonna say thank you. I want to send people to your website, imdwallace.com. Of course, that's D-E-E, two E's in the D. Watch Nix, N-I-X. It's already out, all major platforms. Get in your Halloween mood and mode by getting some scare on. You can do that. And if you need a life coach or you want to read a book, again, imdwallace.com. And it has been an absolute pleasure to talk to you, have you on. I've got your phone number now, by the way, so you might get a late night call from me, just saying, "Hey D, it's Jason. What's up?" Just making sure you're good. Okay.
Yeah, just make sure you clarify which Jason, because in the horror world, that's a trigger right there.
I'll say, hey, this will be our thing. Say, "Hey Mary, it's Hairy Face Jason. Just wanted to say what's up."
Okay, got it. You guys have been a kick. Thank you.
Thank you, D. Take care and best of luck. Okay, talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
Darling. Bye-bye. Bye, Chuck.
Bye, D.